Item 7, the CRD's involvement with the Esquimalt OCP and rezoning process for McLaughlin Point revolves around the mandate for this committee on regional planning, regional sustainability strategy, protective services, including hazmat and emergency preparedness. The CRD needs to work with the Esquimalt to ensure that the CRD's plans for the McLaughlin Point sewage plant and for the Viewfield Road sludge plant take into account that Esquimalt residential neighborhoods are not suitable for heavy industrial operations. When the CRD comes to work with Esquimalt on these two major issues, it should bring with it an independent environmental impact assessment and a health impact assessment that assures Esquimalt that the impacts of either of these two sewage plants would provide a triple bottom line benefit to Esquimalt: a net environmental benefit for the costs incurred by Esquimalt residents who must forego potentially much higher social and environmental returns from alternative development strategies. Of course, the CRD has refused Oak Bay's demand for an independent environmental impact assessment, as well as ignoring the VHA Public Health Director's demand for health impact assessment. However, I have not seen any persuasive evidence that the CRD should not or cannot appeal to the provincial and federal governments directly or through the courts for a deadline extension sufficient to undertake an independent comparative environmental impact assessment and health impact assessment, as well as continuing to search for a better sewage and sludge plant sites and better technology. A full dialogue, meaningful public consultation, and evaluation of optional proposals for McLaughlin Point is in the best interest of both Esquimalt and of the CRD. The future of McLaughlin Point is too important to Esquimalt and to Victoria to be buried forever under an isolated, windowless, grey concrete megabox. Squeezing the sewage plant onto McLaughlin Point's small site may mean that more of its operations are enclosed than would be the case if the plant were able to be at a much larger site, such as Heartland Landfill. Such enclosed operations, according to the British Foundation for Water Research, can lead to higher hazards to the plant workers, for example, from flammable gases, toxic substances, and microbial agents. In conventional design practice, the open-air treatment allows for natural atmospheric dispersion processes to dilute harmful substances to safe levels, kind of like our current marine-based sewage treatment system. While the object of your item is McLaughlin Point rezoning for a sewage plant, it's only one part of the $800 million system that especially now includes that Viewfield sludge processing plant complex, with industrial sub-processes that, based on the Heartland Landfill plant model, would include sewage sludge screening, thermophilic anaerobic digestion complex, energy and heat extraction building for a sewage sludge management, sludge dewatering building, thermal drying, unenclosed receiving stations for fats, oils, and greases and organic waste, operations building, gas flaring units, phosphorus struvite recovery facilities, odor control facilities, and biogas treatment and scrubbing facility. Several of these processes are likely to be biologically hazardous, chemically hazardous, or both, demanding special equipment and training for firefighter rescue units, as well as emergency preparedness for the many families living near to this risky sewage sludge plant. Considering the recent pattern of sewage sludge biodigester plant accidents, including fires and explosions in Europe, this should not be sited anywhere close to these dense Esquimalt Vic West neighborhoods. In addition, I see the item 8, tsunami modeling, might also be relevant to the McLaughlin Point sewage plant siting, as stated earlier. But my comment is that so far there appears to have been no discussion by the CRD's sewage plant planners of the two geologic faults mapped by the Geologic Survey of Canada several years ago that are fairly close to McLaughlin Point, one running north-south up Victoria Harbour, through which an under-harbour sewage pipeline would run, and the other fault, the famous Leech River Fault, running east-west about 400 meters south of the point. Has a professional seismologist examined the data on these faults and confirmed that they are indeed stable. The recently completed Brightwater sewage plant in King County is very close to a seismic fault and had a LIDAR survey, kind of like radar. A LIDAR survey focused on this fault to confirm that their seismic fault is in fact geologically stable. Some years ago, I asked Pacific Geoscience Center seismologist Gary Rogers about the Leech River Fault near Macaulay Point, and he agreed that a LiDAR survey of the fault in that area would be prudent. So, will this sewage plan eventually get an independent environmental impact assessment, a health impact assessment, and an assessment of those geologic faults? Thank you.